We have another exciting recognizing today, and it's about something coming up in the near future that I think we're all excited about because it only happens once every 100 years or so. We're fortunate to have in our community an imagination station, a COSI, a Center for Science and Industry. And again, who else would be more appropriate to lead our county toward a historic event than the leadership of Lori Hauser, her board, and her staff at Imagination Station. You brought a goodie box, I see. Thank you. Our first one. But we want, if you can come forward and talk a lot about, we've been talking about this for years. So, I mean, and here, I can't remember that it's actually almost here. We're fortunate enough just by the course of history and geography to be in a zone of totality, at least for a little while. I mean, don't believe the rumors that you've heard about Lucas County over the years that we're always in the dark, because we're only going to be in the dark for 2 minutes. Right?
This will be a good dark.
Legitimately, we're in the dark for 2 minutes. But after that, we're looking forward to great weather to do it. And we want to thank Imagination Station for taking hold of this and leading the rest of it. I mean, CVB is working underneath your leadership, the boards, the governments. They're the right. Talk about having community partners for the right events. And that's important, and that's exactly what we have here. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Lori. You have been doing a lot of work around this with so many within our community. I was teasing Lori the other day when I told her that it's going to be a non-cloudy day because the commissioners are putting a dome over the county, and we've got staff that are going to move the clouds away so that we can have that full experience. But no, in all seriousness, no, Lori's been working, Imagination Station, their board is so many throughout our community to make this a day, I say a day on of learning, because it will be something that we will not get to see for another 100 years. We're going to have people that's going to come in. They're saying potentially we're going to double our population throughout the region and the economic input that's happened. But this is going to be a time that people are going to experience something they've never experienced before. And along the way, Imagination Station has been the leaders on learning, because this is right up your wheelhouse of science and how this all happens. And pretty soon we are going to be proclaiming you and recognizing Imagination Station for its 2024 Total Solar Eclipse programming that you are doing. But I'm sure that you're going to have lots to tell us about. I mean, there's so many things going to be happening. There's going to be viewing parties. There's going to be food and beer trucks. I think you're going to tell us about the craft brewers here pretty soon. They're doing it. A good piva is always a good time on the 8th. That's if you don't know, that's Polish for beer. But the local craft breweries have come together to celebrate this day, and it's just going to be an opportunity. I know the schools are talking about it, working up to it. The schools have let off for that day, so that it's going to be, again, a day on of learning, working up. We only might be in the dark for a minute and some seconds there, but it's that work up and that work off of the total eclipse is going to be happening. So I'm just really excited for this day to come and for all the work that you've been doing in our community.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lopez?
Thank you. Well, I have to tell you, the moon pie. These are the perks of being a commissioner. You get a moon pie given to you in this great packet. So, no, but it's awesome. The courts are closing. Many entities realize the importance of this event for our community and to participate and be available.
That's awesome.
And so, again, you're always doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Imagination Station. And we look forward to doing everything we can. If we need to order more glasses, we probably need to put that, on the agenda so everyone has their glasses. No injuries, please. And again, thank you for the wonderful work. I can't add any more than what Commissioners Zabecki and Gherkin have already said.
Appreciate it.
What you're doing. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is truly a community effort. This couldn't be done by one entity by any means of what will be happening. And it's really beautiful when you see everyone come together, from the attractions, the hotels, government, the schools, families, in doing it. Because the beautiful thing about April 8th is that we can all experience it at the exact same time together by just stepping outside in doing that. So you don't want to miss it. We have a brief presentation just to give you a little bit of prep and some things to expect. So it'll be behind me. Okay, so next slide. So it is April 8th, and the beauty is that this will not happen in this community for the next 100 years. If you can imagine, it happened during Lewis and Clark times before Ohio was a state the last time in this community. Eclipses do happen other places, but not in this area, and it will be a total eclipse. In 2017, we had about a 60% of an eclipse here, and at that time, we had about 3,000 people in Festival Park next to the Science Center. So, next slide. I spoke too soon before the slide. That was it. Next slide. So the question is, what does Toledo look like? What's it going to look like in the future, if you can imagine? So when you're doing this with your family, please take advantage of that moment and be sure to capture a photo of your family watching the eclipse. Don't try to take a picture of the eclipse. Take a picture of your family and capture that. If you hit the next slide.
Yeah.
Do you guys have sound? Or maybe not sound off of that. So this is a video that actually NPR put out, and it was about the eclipse that happened in 17 when it was totality there. And the thing of it was that what I liked about this video is that you saw everyone engaging in it, everyone really participating, and the wow factor of this actually happening. I've gone into meetings a year ago, and everybody's like, are you here for an eclipse? Seriously? I mean, I rode the elevator up with some folks, and they're like, is this a meeting on the eclipse? And I'm like, it is a meeting on the eclipse.
Wow.
And doing that. But what I wanted to show you, if we went to the next slide, or they stopped the video. This is perfect. You can stay right there for a second. Yeah. So this is the pathway that we'll go through here. And you can see where for the 100% totality. And the thing that gets really confusing is that if you're not in that pathway, you will still see an eclipse, but it will get 70%, 50%, 40% as it goes further away, just like we saw a 60% eclipse in 17. But Ohio is really lucky. All of Ohio, because Cleveland is in the path of 100%. Toledo is in the path of 100%. And when you had, Commissioner said that our county could double in size, that is what NASA has seen from other places that have been 100%. And keeping in mind that we're so close to Detroit or Ann Arbor, and that population thinking, I could just drive in for the day and actually see it. You're so close. I think you'll see that. I think our hotels right now are over 400% booking from where they were a year ago at this time, and people staying. So I think that's very powerful for them to stay. And we have been encouraging them to stay for 3 days. Come in, get settled, enjoy the city, and then see the eclipse. Next slide. You can go to the next one. So here's the thing, and I'm not the chief scientist, and he usually does this slide. He gets a bigger response than I do. But this is the totality, and this is who is not in totality. And it stops like by Roar's fish market on Monroe Street, and everybody outside of that will be outside. So think of that. We have a board member from Lourdes, and they're upset that they want to come into our area because they are not in the 100% totality. So you will be able to still step in your backyard and see it. I mean, we're talking, 95%, 99%. It's not like that huge of a change, so you'll still be able to see it. Next slide. So you can go to the next slide. So glasses and things to think about. You do need solar eclipse glasses to view it. You can get them lots of different places. The libraries have some, we have some, but where the eclipse. You can also make your own solar viewer. We'll be doing that the day of the eclipse. There's ways you can cast shadows, but it is to protect your eyes. And the beautiful part on when you can take the glasses down is in that moment of totality. So when the moon is directly in front of the sun, that's the moment you can take your glasses off and look directly at the sun and seeing that. And that is roughly about 2 minutes, like at 3:12 in doing that. Next slide. So you can go to the next slide. So the one thing too with these solar glasses is that, you don't have to have one for every family member, because when you put them on, if they put them on right now, it's totally black. You can't walk around with them. You can share them with your family too, even if you have 2 or 3, in being able to do that. Next slide. We will be making, this is from the Science Center in 17. We will be making viewers. We have kits that we're giving away now at the Science Center for families, even to build them and have them prep beforehand. Next slide. This is just a funny slide. If you look at they're protecting the students, but the teacher's still looking directly at the sun.
Teachers.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Next slide. You can go to the next one. This is a sun spotter. It will be featured at the Science Center. We also have solar telescopes that will be down that anyone would be able to use those for viewing. We are participating in a national grant study. There's 2 students from Toledo Public Schools coming that will be with their equipment studying what's happening here in Lucas County. We will submit the data to the research project, so hopefully we will be included in that on the day of. Next slide. So a couple things to think about when you're doing this is that the animals will get confused and thinking that it's nighttime. Birds will think it's nighttime. Cicadas will come out. You will hear them. The temperature will drop. It will get cooler outside. It's okay. I know there was a news article going around. Your dogs will not look directly at the sun. They don't normally look directly at the sun, so you're okay with that. I know that there was a study out with that. But things to notice of that's happening around you in the environment when that's going on. Next slide. So these are some things that you can actually check out when, like the Bailey's beads. Here, it's like a dotting effect from the sun. There is a solid diamond ring, and they will all form during the eclipse, and you'll be able to see them. You'll also be able to see, I believe, Jupiter and Saturn at the same time with the eclipse and doing that. Next slide. So the impact. We're working with several folks. So Glass City Metro Parks is having a viewing party. The Hens are activating St. Clair Street. They'll have a viewing party. UT is having a viewing party. There'll be many in their families at home. It's going to take all of us because if we go double our community, our county size, we're going to be looking at 1 million people here and being able to do that. So our restaurants, our hotels, our gas stations, all will benefit as well as wonderful experiences in doing that. And I know that the Travel and Tourism, the Science Center, we've been placing ads further out, like a 2-hour radius to drive people into the community. We are partnering with the 419 Ale Trail. That magically goes from Lucas to Hancock County, and there are several solar eclipse beers being made. So on April 6th, it's a tasting of only solar eclipse beers. We have Science Facts. We have about 18 breweries that will be participating, but I think it's that community-wide effort. The one thing, you can go to the next slide. When you're looking at this, like 300 million or 31 million people live in the pathway of totality. But last year or last eclipse, I think it was like 30 million people drove just into those areas to see it. So that's who's living in those areas currently, let alone 30 million people driving into that space. Next slide. The concept of like travel and tourism is really, really huge. And it's, you think about it, I know that the hotels in Hancock County are full right now. And they are in the pathway for like 4 minutes. It could be an obscene amount that benefits the whole state, not just Toledo or not just Lucas County. And the thing that I would like everybody to think about is just be smart with planning. You mentioned the schools are closed. If your business is not operating, I think that's wonderful because I'd like everybody to be able to take advantage of it. We are open, but we are also an attraction and hosting that, like the Glass City. So there are many places that are closing, but I think that the restaurants, places like that, be smart, order in early. Think about that traffic flow of things, of deliveries. We cut off deliveries on the day of, just so we don't have that traffic. We have 1,200 kids already scheduled to arrive, and when my team told me that, I was like, why are the schools are closed? Who's coming? And it's all Michigan kids that are coming here that want to see the eclipse here. So I think you will see more people driving in, and they just booked that, and we're still a month out. Next slide. So this is the partnership we did form with all of the convention centers in Lucas, Wood, and Hancock County to help promote it, in addition to the attractions, and they have all collaborated with that as well. Next slide. Can you go to the next slide, please? So a Science Center, we've been talking about it for a while. Our mission is to inform, and we want to educate and get people excited about science. So that's why we've been doing this now pre. We've delivered over 500 eclipse programs specifically. Those kits that you're holding there, all went to every fifth grade in Lucas County, every fifth grade in Hancock County, Lima, and Dublin, and generously supported by Synovus as a sponsorship. They are all classroom activities that were free for people to actually start educating people about them pre-eclipse. In addition to the free kits that are at the Science Center right now, if you'd like to go and pick up one of those. The other, next slide, please. One thing that I do want to touch upon, it's not on the slide here, we couldn't do this all ourselves. We did a call for ambassadors to help volunteer with us. We had 100 people sign up to be solar ambassadors. So we trained them about the eclipse. We gave them a kit. We gave them information. I will tell you that one is throwing a party in Port Clinton at the brewery. He is a bartender. There is one that is having a wedding that is solar eclipse theme. There are 2 teachers. There's some providing activities for first responders because they are working, because all first responders are being on active duty because of the number of people that be coming in. So we appreciate all of the volunteers and all of our collaboration. Next slide. Oh, that's the breweries. You know, it's an educational experience for all ages and doing that. So I invite you all to partake in the solar eclipse. Please come down. If you don't come down, watch it in your backyard. Enjoy this moment with your family. I think that just pause for a second. We're all so busy, and when you actually see this thing that is also bigger than any of us, I think that's an important moment, and NASA will capture many, many photos of the eclipse. Take that picture of your family enjoying this moment, because that's something that everyone would be able to keep. And maybe your children will be here at the next eclipse and being able to see that as well. And on Thursday, we do have a partnership with the Symphony and an planet speaker that's coming in. So you'll see a wide range of items coming out in the next few weeks. So enjoy. I'll take any questions.
About the viewing parties, they are scattered across an area.
Yeah, they're all over. I mean, Glass City is having a huge one. Wildwood is having a very big viewing party. St. Clair Street has one. I think that they might let you in the stadium. We have one at Festival Park. UT is one. I know that there are a few more coming that people are announcing, as well as what are happening in people's backyards. I got a call from a judge saying, you know, how can we come down? Because at our party, we'll have about 8 or 9 food trucks. We do have some of the Solar Eclipse beer. I said it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but we'll also have root beer and family activities as well.
Okay, thank you. I think both my commissioner partners and I would like to announce the county is going to be closing at noon, right?
Excellent.
Jessica?
12:30 and just offices under the purview of the
Under the
commissioners.
commissioners. So
You are welcome. No,
you take a deep breath on that. So, look, here's what we have to. You want people to get settled in. Nobody needs to be in their car trying to drive to the party at 1:45.
Right. You know, I had a team member that went in 2017 to Tennessee. And what he told me was like, I mean, he ended up camping out in somebody's backyard. And I know there are other people renting their houses out and things like that. He said the worst part was actually leaving, because everybody tried to pick up and leave at the same time. And he sat in traffic for like 6 hours coming back. Enjoy it wherever you are. You know what? If you're downtown, enjoy a restaurant, have fun with it. Don't rush out. It's still going to be done at 3 o'clock, but you'll have the whole day.
All right. Lori, like you said, though, is the importance of also spend this opportunity with your family. So by us allowing our staff to be able to go home, they'll be able to get off that day, be able to experience this with their family. Because let's face it, I'm not going to be around 100 years from now. And if I am, hey, y'all be scary. Right. But that opportunity. Yeah. So thank you for Commissioner Merkin for announcing that today.
All right.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to recognize Imagination Station for its 2024 Total Solar Eclipse programming.